Is it baseball season yet? And as we proceed to give you what you need, it's Miller Time 40 here, please. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Miller Time. And a couple months ago, I made a video. It was called Predictions for the Baltimore Ravens for the 2016-2017 season. I had them going, I believe, 12-4, 13-3. They went 8-8. So we're going to talk about where they went wrong, because oh boy, did they go wrong. So I have the season right in front of me. So obviously we're playing MLB 16 to show. 17 ain't out because it's not April yet, which I'm waiting for. By the way, you see me wearing the Cavs jersey. Congratulations to Alex Ovechkin on getting his 1,000th goal. Yeah, rosters are not up to date right now. Good lord. I don't care. Actually, no, Adam led off. I'm trying to remember how we had our... That was Mark Trumbo. No. Mark Trumbo was right field, right? Yeah. Hey, now. Right? Sure. Oh yeah, sorry I'm being quiet, guys. I'm just not really all there today, but I'm gonna do a player lock on Manny. But yeah, so I have the season schedule right here that I'm gonna read off for the last time before I throw it away, because fuck the season. This ain't, obviously it's set. It looks like I'm streaming, but technically I'm not streaming. I just use the YouTube streaming ability of YouTube on the PS4. So okay, so obviously the Ravens started off 3-0. I didn't have them losing until they went and played the Giants. So I had them winning through till they played the Giants, and then they would beat the Jets. But
first pitch is next.
Okay, so obviously we won against the Bills, Browns, and Jaguars, like we should have. The Raiders,
the California-born right-hander, is
that
on the
we
mound.
lost to the Raiders.
What's the word on him?
But we should, but that could have gone either way, to be honest. We could have either lost them or. But if we were going to lose to any teams, it was going to be the Raiders, the Cowboys, obviously this season, because nobody saw that coming, and the Patriots.
And he could give his guys
like I said, we should have only lost 3 games. So,
important to take advantage of these kind of
all right, hold on. Let me turn this chatter off, because that's gonna make me mad. Oh, what am I doing? Gameplay options. Gameplay options. Really? Alright, so I'm going to have to deal with that the entire time. Great.
Machado on the slide. He's up with it. The throw. He's in there. Safe.
Why is it? Oh, that's why. Never mind. I'm dumb. Hold on, can you mess with player lock options? Fielding. But yeah, the main reason we lost those games is horrible play calling by our coordinators. And I say coordinators because it's also Marty Morningweg. Not Marty Morningweg, Dean Pease. It was just a shit show, man. to be honest. I know I'm like, but that's just the honest truth right there, is that it was a shit show. Straight up.
Striding into the box, Manny Machado, as he'll get his first opportunity in this one.
Like the Steelers game, is one of the biggest things with Dean Pease as coordinator when it comes to his defense.
Now a moment here in Baltimore for the Orioles starting lineup. Anybody catch your eye, Eric?
Because the way his conservative defense is horrible. Because what he does is he leaves a big gap in the middle of the field, like right before the first down marker. And I wouldn't have as much of an issue with this as if he actually played the correct defense. Because I can understand leaving a small portion of the middle of the field open. That's fine. But what I saw, besides the defensive lineman, everybody else is behind the first down marker in the 2-minute drill. It's ridiculous. That's why we lost to the Steelers, man. And it's just, it was just a rough season, guys. And I'm not mad. And the thing is, Steve Bisciotti, the Baltimore Ravens owner, is a fool. Because he said, oh, I'm not in the business of firing people. That looks bad on the organization. But yeah, when you own a business and somebody's hurting your organization, you fire them.
Chris Davis will stand in now with
that's
home in the inning
business
and
right
two
there.
More ducks out there at second and third.
So a chance to really put up a crooked number here with just a simple base hit.
Swing and a miss, blew the fastball right by him, and the inning is over.
Yeah, it was rough to watch because this team, there's no reason this team should not have made the playoffs. Absolutely not. We should have won the division. We should have won out in the division.
Find the ball. Duvall is under it. Two gone.
We should have gone 6-0 in the division this year, man. And they gave up the last game too. The last game against the Bengals, they gave up.
Is set to take some more swings.
So
he homered back in the third inning.
Oh Lord, I'll probably play a couple games just so I can keep talking about it. But that's what it came down to, man. It was just a poor season, poor by everybody's account. And let me start breaking this down each side of the ball.
Yeah, I think in the end this really could have been anybody's
Let's start
award, but
on the biggest weakness of this year's
go ahead and give it to
Baltimore
this guy.
Ravens team.
His
Baltimore Ravens offense. It started off with Trestman being in there, trying to turn Flacco into Aaron Rodgers. And then you got Morningweg in there, thinking that, oh, maybe things will change up. He still tried to make Flacco into Aaron Rodgers. Flacco needs to be Flacco, all right? Throw the ball deep, and if you want to get him in the rhythm, give him some short pass. And to be honest, I'd make it impossible for him to check down because that's one. Let me get to that in a second. But you know, with flat, oh God, I can't even think right now because how much. All right, I'm already in PlayStation Network. Eat a dick. But yeah, it came down to him constantly trying to turn Flacco into, you know, an Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees. There's no Flacco for a reason to be throwing. There's no reason for Flacco to be throwing 40, 50 times a game. He's not Drew Brees and he's not Aaron Rodgers. Even Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw that much. Flacco finally got his 4,000-yard season terribly. And I talked about this on my sports talk show channel. By the way, Let's Talk Sports Show. ever since the John Harbaugh era started, and it's still consistent now, even though the season's over. Every year besides 2008 when the Ravens had a 1,000-yard rusher, we made the playoffs. Knowingly that this team was built on strong defense and a strong run game, they shouldn't. Anybody that comes in to coach for this team should know better than that. They should know better than to try to turn this team into something that it's not. And what it's not is a throwing team. I keep on getting lost, but it's the truth. This team is not a throwing team. It'll never be a throwing team. This team will always be a, it'll always be it should always remain a running team. I'm sorry I keep drawing blanks, man. I'm tired right now, but still, just in general, that this team is it's a running team, and it should always remain a running team. That's just the honest truth about it. So, and if you take away from what a team is, then obviously you're going to hurt the team, and that's what Marty Morningweg did with. And the fact that they're keeping him around only means bad things for the Ravens next year. Like they say, Coach Harbaugh says something, oh, Marty believes in running the football, barely. And what's funny is that there are some games where, like the Eagles game, we were running it down their throats that game. Then we stopped doing it, and we almost gave up the game. We almost lost that game because we walked away from the running game. Marty Morningweg wants to be like, oh, I don't believe. Yeah, he always does those hand motions in the crowd. Oh, I don't believe in, I hate the word conservative because, I think if you're being conservative, yeah, but when you're up by what were they up by? 10, 14 points in the fourth? You play conservative at that point.
So it's a runner at first with two gone, and that'll bring in a dangerous hitter indeed in the form of Bryce Harper.
God, Marty Morningweg is he is what's wrong with the Baltimore Ravens. When I say he is what's wrong with the Baltimore Ravens, he really is what's wrong with the Baltimore Ravens. Because it's just with him
a two-run home run here for Bryce Harper.
Constantly
moves out in front here,
just making bad play calls, and then the fact that you have a quarterback. Let me just finish up with Marty Morningweg. It's just if he's going to be successful next season, he needs to run the ball more.
Swung on and lifted in the air to left center, and that'll get down for a base hit.
So he needs to run the ball more, because if he doesn't, that's gonna kill the Ravens next season. Now on to Joe Flacco. Not everything is his fault, I will say, but guess what? When you aren't making calls to the line, you want to be paid as an elite quarterback. You don't want to do elite quarterback things. There's a problem with that. Because guess what? There were so many times where it was obvious the team was setting a blitz. They were getting, they were filling the box up, and then they ended up blitzing. He didn't do anything. He didn't even change. It's not that he called the run, and he didn't change it into that.
That pitcher's got to be thinking, how can I throw a pitch like that in this
But when they got three defensive linemen, and this is also an offensive line thing, but not as much because Joe Flacco holds the ball and takes too many sacks. Now my grandmother said, oh, it's because his knee was hurt, this, that, and the other. Yeah, I got the same injury, and I still wasn't that stupid. Of course, I'm not a quarterback, but still.
Well, at the very least, he went down.
I didn't make excuse because of my knee after I was finished being hurt with it. You know, I wasn't, you know, because I play softball in the spring and summer, and I wasn't making excuses. Sure, my knee might be irritated, but I'm not going to be like, oh, my knee's the reason why I couldn't do this. No, I'm not that type of person. If I play bad, I play bad, and there's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with my game, not my knee. I'm not going to blame my knee for that. So, my grandmother's saying that, oh, you know, his knee was hurt, he just got off the surgery. Yeah, but guess what? My dad got the same surgery, and on both knees, actually, and he still does fine. So, the fact that, I'm going after my grandmother like she did something wrong, but it's just a point that you can't blame his knee for it. You know, because obviously he was running fine, and it's got nothing to do with his arm. He just needs to work on his mechanics, because guess what? He's ending into his 9th season, and his mechanics are getting worse as time goes by. He likes to throw off his back foot, and that's completely inaccurate, and then he'll get intercepted all the time. This is a separate video, by the way, that I would lead into, but guess what? I might as well get the rant out now. Joe Flacco is not worth $120 million. He's the reason why we can't get any good players, because he kills our cap space. That's the one thing I have to say about Tom Brady. As much as I dislike the son of a bitch, at least he has the contract that works for him, but at the same time, he has enough for the rest of the team that they could bring guys in, weapons around him, and this, that, and the other. And then all these people want to blame the weapons around Joe, this, that, and the other. Sure, there were some bad times. Chris Moore is terrible, and of course,
diving effort there,
and you know, Brashad Perriman, he drops a lot of passes. He needs to work on some stuff, but of course, that's one thing. But when you have guys like Steve Smith Sr., Dennis Pitta, Kamar Aiken, which is a very solid wide receiver for what we have, Mike Wallace, and you still think, oh, he needs more weapons, there's something wrong with your quarterback, not the guys around you. Because if Joe Flacco can make Steve Smith Sr. and Mike Wallace and Dennis Pitta look like shit, that's his fault, not theirs. And another thing with Joe Flacco is, I've said this for a long time now, notice he's not been very good. He had 2014, that's it. But since the Super Bowl season, he's been playing like shit. And that's because he doesn't care anymore. Since he got that contract, he doesn't care anymore. That's the thing. Because I've heard stories from insiders and Ravens, not that I know them, but I've listened to the radio shows. I gotta take this hat off.
Drives this one to right field and picks up that RBI from third.
Yeah, but I listen to the radio shows, and you know they have guys on the inside of the Ravens saying that Joe Flacco's there when he needs to be and leaves when they say he can. He's not there, you know, putting in extra time, learning and stuff like that. He doesn't care. They call him Joe Cool because he never has a reaction, but that's an issue in my book. That's him not caring. That's the thing. He plays like shit because he knows he's set for life.
His third home run of the ball game as this lead got even wider.
They know they're gonna give him his money.
Well, we wondered what he'd have to do for an encore. Here it is. His third home run of the ball game. He's having an afternoon to remember.
That was the Joe Flacco rant. Can you tell I don't like the guy? Can you tell I really don't like the guy?
We take you back to earlier. This was home run number 3
that's
in the
true,
ball game.
man. That's just the way I look at it.
With 4 home runs
he's
in
not
a single
good.
game.
He's good for what we need for now, but
to retire the side.
Other than that, he's not worth anything.
On one base hit, the home run, no errors.
He only hurts us, to be honest. If he keeps playing the way he's playing, he only hurts us.
Stands into the box. He could really use a knock here. 0 for 3 in the game so far. Has them down to their final strike. Here it comes. And this ball swung on and hit to center field, and this should do it. Harper is there to make the catch, and with that, the
now
ball
into the
game is
defense.
over.
Obviously, we had some injuries. It was poor pass rush this season, which that's no excuse for. We have guys like Elvis Dumerville, who is injured most of the season, but we also have Terrell Suggs. You know, and we had the young guys like Matt Judon, and we didn't even, you know, dress the Darius Smith, who was one of our best pass rushers. last year. It was just poor play calling by Dean Pease, sending blitzes when there was no reason for it. This has been my problem with Dean Pease for years, man. He would send blitzes on 3rd and 20 and let him get it, you know. And guess what? When you only have
this
4 corners
over before it started as we give you a
and
look at the
2 safeties out in the back. Actually, no, he would leave guys on an island in the backfield. He would leave our safeties one safety by themselves and bring 5 guys up.
And fellas, as always, a few guys we could
it
have
was just a
chosen
really
from, out of everybody, that's the man who stands out in my book. He's our top player in the game.
Yeah, he delivered more than once.
But that
with runners in
was
scoring
one
position.
of the
Finished with 5 RBIs. And
what really
was
the thing with Dean Pease is that his 4th quarter 2-minute defense is horrible, because what he calls is just
so that'll just about do it
it's
for
stupidity.
Us this afternoon.
Obviously, like I said earlier,
Lyons,
him
the rest of our crew, I'm Matt Vasgersian.
constantly,
this has been a presentation
you know,
of MLB The Show. To find out
calling
more, head on over to theshownation.com.
for either blitzes when he shouldn't be, or sending 4 and just leaving space in the middle and space for them to run and get out at that, because it's not like he has the guys like on the corners right here but close enough they could stop him in the middle of the field. No, he's giving them enough space to run to the outside and get out of bounds. Now there's some guys who are speedsters, which I understand that, but some of them have no reason to. So that's why I'm gonna call the video, guys. And obviously special teams. That was just having an older Devin Hester and just him having bad decision making at this point in his career. So let me run down this line one more time just to tell you what games we should have won, what games we should have won, and what games we should have lost. So obviously Bills, Browns, Jaguars won all these games. Raiders, that's a toss-up. We could have won that. We could have lost that. So, but in my mind, I think if we would have played better defense and the offense would have played a little better, we could have run that. So, we should have beaten the Redskins. No reason we should have let them come back. Giants, it was a close game in the first half, then we get it up in the second, which we shouldn't have. But Dean Pease, his second half defense isn't worth nothing, so we should have beaten the Giants. We definitely should have beaten the Jets. So by the way I look at this now, we should have clean swept right before the bye week. Obviously, we beat the Steelers. We got to the bye week. And then we beat the Browns. Cowboys, one of the teams we actually lost to. Because although we did stop Ezekiel Elliott almost as good as anybody else that season. Actually, no, it was one of the best to stop him at the time. But that's one of the games we actually should have lost. Beat the Bengals. We beat the Dolphins. Yeah, we beat the Dolphins. Patriots, we gave up in that game. It was a close game, and we were shooting ourselves in the foot. Then we gave up in the second half. So guess what? We actually lost to the Patriots. 2 losses.
Afternoon baseball.
Eagles, we beat. We should have never lost to the Steelers because of Dean Pease's defense. We did. So we should have beaten the Steelers. And guess what? We wouldn't have to worry about it. We would have made the playoffs by now. We would have made the playoffs by now already. So, but we should have beaten the Steelers, and we would have benched our guys against the Bengals. But guess what? We still should have beaten the Bengals, but our guys didn't care. So that's 2 losses.
So that really makes it difficult for
the way this team was built this season, and it's a shame. This was our best roster since our Super Bowl team. Our best roster since our Super Bowl team. And we go 8-8. That's a damn shame, man. There's no reason why we shouldn't have at least made the playoffs this season.
Ballpark this afternoon as the first pitch is in there for strike one.
We should have won the division, made the playoffs, at the least. And at the most, we should have won the Super Bowl. But of course, that didn't happen. So
Bouncer down the line.
I'll probably bring back another video
on
the improvements the Baltimore Ravens need to make in the off season after the Super Bowl is over and stuff like that. And I'm gonna start looking at what we lose and what we're looking at, and once I figure all that out. So remember, if you guys did enjoy, hit that subscribe button to join Team Beard, aka 40 Nation. You can follow me on Instagram at @MillerTime40. Follow me on Twitter at _MillerTime40, and go follow my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MillerTime40. I want to thank you all so much for watching. This is Miller signing out.
And this
God
one's
bless.
not close. It's in the dirt for